so we can adopt.
Yeah,
Right.
and I'll just abstain.
Okay, so you made a motion to adopt?
Yes, sir.
Second.
So motion been made on the floor to adopt the approval of the minutes for January. All in favor? And make note that Ms. Jane was not here, so she is abstaining from the minutes. Item number 6, Ms. Grant, who is here for a special use permit?
Yes.
So if anyone is here for public comment for this item, there are sheets over there that we'll need to fill out, and you have up to 3 minutes. So you can come forward and you can proceed.
Hello.
You can tell us why you're here.
Oh, I'm here for a special use permit for 167 Sea Pines Drive on Coffin Point.
Okay, and you says Coffin's Point. So I'm assuming that there is, I mean, you.
Our covenants do allow for short-term rentals.
Okay. I didn't see a copy of it in here. Did you see a copy of the covenant?
Yeah, there was.
There's no covenants
Said
on
there
this
was
one.
no covenants on there.
She said,
It was in the
so
back.
there's no covenant, or
There-
you said it?
It allows for business use.
Okay. All right, anyone have any questions for the applicant? All right, well, I'm quite sure if we have any questions, we will come back to you.
Okay, thank you.
I'd like to hear from the county.
Well, you know how I feel about these covenants, but, staff left it up to the board to make the decision to approve. But staff has a problem with this property because the wetlands were cleared. And I just got the pictures this morning. And I would like, if staff is going to approve, to put a condition that no zoning permit will be issued for the short-term rental until that violation has been cleared up.
Okay, so declare that violation of what,
Huh?
so declare that violation of.
They
the-
have to replant that the wetland buffer,
Okay.
yeah, and replace all the stuff that they removed.
Okay. Any
You-
questions?
You ready for a motion?
Well, I want to make sure, no, I'm not ready for a
Okay.
motion yet. Okay. Thank you. Yes, could you please come back?
So we consulted with Newkirk Environmental and Palmetto Horticulture. And we had, because the electric company threw trees in our wetlands, there were rebars in there. People used it as their personal garbage can. We had it cleaned up. We did not fill in the wetlands. We had a small amount of dirt brought in for planting around the wetlands. A neighbor called in and said that we were filling in the wetlands, and nobody came to us and asked us what we were doing, which caused all this ruckus. But we have no intentions of filling in those wetlands.
As it turns out, the wetlands are already regrowing. As you know, they have a habit of doing that. It turns out when we bought the property 3 years ago, the property was completely bush hogged. We didn't know it. We just thought that was the way it normally came because we're from out of town and we viewed this beautiful property for sale. In the interim, it's taken us that long to get our property developed. The electric company has come in and cut down 2 70-foot pine trees in the wetlands and left them there. And then there's construction debris constantly ending up in our wetlands. And so just recently, we had it cleaned up. And it's pretty impossible to go in there and remove 2 70-foot pine trees without also disturbing the vegetation, because it was all encumbered in there. It was also very difficult to get someone to come in and just hand pick, pulling out large logs and branches, et cetera. So we opted to spend $1,200 to have the property, the piece, which is about the size of this space in front of me. That's how large it is. We had that cleaned up. And that's what the issue is. Now we're on the hook for doing that, which I guess we shouldn't have. But it's gonna grow back. And when Ms. Austin said, we need to replace put it back to its original state, does that mean we gotta go find a couple of 60-foot pine trees, cut them up and drop them in there? No, it doesn't. And this will grow back to its original state in like 6 months. And meanwhile, we're gonna have to wait for for some sort of opinion as to what we should do next. That's our situation.
Okay, so let me ask you this, being that it's a recommendation from the county
Mhm.
to replant or to, put some of what's been cleaned up, I would say, would you guys have an issue with that?
No.
No,
As a
we
matter of
actually
fact,
have an
we were in the
appointment.
process of doing it, and
We
they
have an
told us to
appointment.
cease and desist.
Okay, all right.
As of now, we have an appointment with Ms. Dawson to sit down and discuss how to move forward with this.
Okay, well, that's
It was
fine.
never our intention to disturb wetlands. It was just to clean it up and plant our landscaping around the wetlands.
All right, well, as long as you have an appointment with her, then that's fine.
But I wish we would not have to delay this process because of that. I don't see what the benefit of that is, since it's gonna grow back on its own anyway.
You can't wait for this to grow back. This is, you grubbed it. I don't even know if there's anything under this to come back up. You
Oh,
have to
it will come
grab
back up.
Yeah, we just cleaned off the top. Ms.
It was
Dawson.
like that when we purchased it, and within 6 months, it
Well,
was,
no,
yeah.
It was like that.
yeah, after 3
It's
years.
not like that anymore. It's
Oh,
straight.
it'll look like that again.
It'll grow.
Okay.
I have a question.
Yes.
So I'm a little confused. You keep saying it's gonna grow back on its own. Are you gonna revegetate that, or are you gonna let Mother Nature do it?
We can't
little bit of
plant
both.
in it. We're not allowed to
In the
plant in
wetlands
it.
itself, we're not gonna do anything, but around it, we're gonna plant muley grass and pampas grass.
And some papyrus.
And then the water will naturally come and go in the wetlands area, and it'll settle down and regrow. And it is regrowing already. That photograph isn't detailed enough to show it's only 2 inches tall, already started to grow after just 3 weeks. And
You don't
again,
have any-
it's important for it to note the scope of this project. Literally, the size of my position here to that wall, left and right, is the size of the property we're talking about.
Which
the
it seems
wetland.
like that you could replant it with what was taken out.
We were told we cannot plant in
Yeah.
the wetland.
Hillary, would you confirm?
But we'd be happy to plant in the
Told you
wetland.
that.
Uh,
You said you
Everybody.
plant in the wetland. I mean, you went in there and you took out the stuff that was in there. We want you to put it back. That's what we want.
So you want plants, but you want us to plant in the wetland?
Yeah.
I'd be happy
All
to.
this stuff needs to be replanted. Now, it may not be in the wetland per se, but it's around the wetland, so.
That's exactly
you know,
what we
without a
want.
plat, I don't know exactly where this is, but this has to be replanted. Because there is a 20-foot buffer around that wetland that needs to be vegetated.
And with native plants,
Yes.
correct?
Correct.
And that's exactly what our plan was. We hired someone, and they brought in the dirt to plant the plants around the wetland. But we'd happy to plant in the wetland too.
Well, I'm not in the habit of allowing people to keep going when they have a violation. You want it fixed first,
Mm-hmm.
then you'll get your permit to do your short-term rental.
Do we still have to wait for our appointment with you, or could we just go ahead and plant in there?
Well, if you want to get someone to do the landscape plan, we need to see it to make sure that what you're proposing meets the requirement. And our natural resource planner would look at it and say, yeah, sure, and then you don't.
We talked to your natural resource planner this morning, and she's deferred it to you.
Yeah, then she would look at the landscape plan. You send the landscape plan to her?
No?
Okay, then that's what we need. We need the plant plan.
Okay. Do you need a drawing?
Yes.
Okay.
Plant plan.
And you want us to plant in the wetlands?
Well, like I said, I don't know, these pictures don't really tell me exactly where the wetland is located. So all this dirt that you have that's all grubbed up and that needs to be replanted.
Okay,
I don't think that's wetland,
It is.
it is.
okay? Then whatever was in there that you took out needs to go back in. And you wanna be facetious and say the trees and the logs.
Well, there's a lot of weeds too, so we'll have to be selective about it. I know what you're saying.
So the look of this, it looks like a truckload of dirt. So you were able to, it seemed like you're having a problem with planting in the wetland. I wouldn't say a problem or concern about planting in the wetland, but you were able to clean out the wetlands.
Yes.
And I'm noticing maybe it looked like a load or 2 loads of dump truck loads of dirt in the
It's one
wetland, which
road.
is,
It's not in the wetland, sir, it's on the, it's next to the road, actually, it's most of it along the road.
It was on
It's
the road.
20 cubic yards. It's 20 cubic yards of dirt, which wouldn't fill the wetlands up.
yeah, I didn't say it filled it up, but you were able to back a truck down in there.
Well,
They
they were
did
on
it,
the road when
they
they
did it
dumped
on the
that.
road.
Doesn't look like the road here, but
Well, it's a dirt road.
I'm with you on that.
you can see what I'm seeing,
Yeah.
what I'm looking at, right?
It's quite,
Actually, it was off our property because it was partly on the road, so, yeah. But the dirt was to plant plants.
And I understand what you're saying,
Yeah.
but if it's, I'm just trying to figure out if a truck was able to back in the wetland, so-called wetlands.
Sir, they didn't. They didn't even back onto our actual property line. The dirt was dumped on the roadside of the property line.
Who took these pictures? You don't know? Well, let me ask you something. If,
is this?
We didn't
the back
take
of the
them.
house?
Are you referring to the ones with the silk fence?
That's the
around,
opposite.
no,
Yeah,
the
the
silk
ones that were
fence is
taken the
not.
9th, February 9th.
The ones with the load of dirt that was taken by Officer Roberts in order to talk to code enforcement. I'm the one that called them and issued a stop work order on the property. When I received a complaint in reference to dirt being unloaded there, a dump truck full of dirt from Alan Patterson, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And, let me stand up, so I'm not being rude. But the complainant stated that Mr. Patterson had dumped a truckload of dirt there. And when I contacted, Ms. Grant and asked her what was going on the property, she advised that they were cleaning out, or they wanted to clean out the wetlands and replant plants around there. And I advised her that as of this point, a stop work order is gonna be issued on the property because the wetlands are supposed to be native vegetation, undisturbed natural vegetation. So
Mhm.
the photos with the silk fencing around it, those were inspected to ensure that the viburnum, or, how do you say that?
Viburnum.
Viburnum was planted around that area per their permit prior to the CO of the property. And that's how it looked with all that dog kennel and all that, and then obviously.
So this obviously the cleared out one was after the CO. See,
Yes, that
Yeah.
was just
Okay,
on-
so therefore they-
it's still on the bottom, that was taken on February 9th.
yeah. 10/24/23. So after the CO, they went in there, took the silk fence down and cleared out the wetlands. From
Well,
what
the
I'm
s-
gathering.
The CO was given late October. We just did this a few weeks ago.
Correct.
Right.
In February.
So October was there, now it's gone.
Yeah, okay. Anyone have any questions?
Do you know what the plants are that were removed? or
Weeds.
Weeds, whatever grows in wetlands.
It dies off every winter and
But we
grows
were
back
advised
every-
what to plant around them.
It's not an attractive situation. Put it that way.
All right, anyone have any questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
Public comments. Is there any public comment for this? It is, Ms. Kathy, yes.
I just came to say that we live at 181 Sea Pines, and we are in agreement with them having short-term rentals, supporting them. We don't have any issues.
Thank you. Ms. Diane?
My husband and I live at 33 Heron Drive, which is, if their houses are just one row, so we are behind them. And we have no problem at all with the short-term rental. We're happy to have them as neighbors. They have a beautiful home. I think that they are very conscientious about what they're doing. It's just kind of been a mistake of, I don't know, communication maybe, but we are definitely in favor of what they're doing.
Thank you. Anyone else here for public comment? Let's close public comments. Ladies and gentlemen, we've heard from the applicant and the county and public comments. Would anyone like to place a Motion.
I'll make a motion. I move that we approve the special use for short-term rental, but it shall not go into effect until all violations of the zoning have been corrected, as per staff's review.
Second.
So it's a motion on the floor to approve the special use until all violation is satisfied by the county. Landscape plan is approved. And, so it's been properly made and second. All in favor of approving the special use with those conditions signify by raising your hand. All right, well, your special use has been approved with contingent upon completing all violations. You guys are good to go. Old business, any new business? Not adjournment?
So moved.
Probably made, second, all in favor? Thank you, guys.